The jungle was alive. After days of walking, Steve, Alex, and Andy stood at the edge of a vast emerald forest. It wasn't like any forest they had seen before. The trees here were impossibly tall, their leaves glowing with soft green light. Vines shimmered like threads of gold. Every step released tiny sparks, as if the ground itself was breathing. The air was warm and smelled of rain. Somewhere deep inside, a faint hum pulsed, rhythmic, steady, like a heartbeat coming from the heart of the world. Steve glanced at his arm. The lines of his mark, now mixed with the colors of ice and fire, began to glow faint green. The forest was calling to them. They entered carefully. The sunlight filtered through the canopy in beams of gold and jade. Each step stirred little motes of glowing dust that floated in the air. Andy reached out and caught one on his fingertip. It pulsed gently, like a tiny star. "Everything's alive here," Alex whispered, her voice soft with awe. The path wound between massive roots that twisted like pillars. Flowers opened as they passed, and small creatures, part plant, part cube, peeked from under leaves. One even hopped onto Andy's shoulder before vanishing into the moss again. The further they walked, the more they felt it. A quiet power, calm but vast, humming through every leaf and stone. By midday, they reached a clearing. At its center stood a colossal tree, its trunk as wide as a house, and its crown lost in mist. Glowing symbols spiraled up its bark, the same pattern as Steve's mark. From its roots flowed streams of pure water that shimmered like glass. Tiny lights floated above the water, whispering like voices just out of reach. Alex knelt beside one of the streams. "This must be the source," she said, "the heart of all growth." But Steve noticed something else. Cracks along the roots, faint but spreading. The glow was dimmer here. Something was wrong. As they moved closer, the hum of the forest grew faint and uneven. The air turned still. The motes of light flickered, then faded away. Andy pointed toward the base of the great tree. There, coiled in shadow, was something large and still, like a root that had turned to stone. Alex's eyes widened. "That's not a root. It's a creature." It was. A giant stone serpent, half buried, its scales covered in moss and cracked soil. Once it must have guarded the grove, but now it lay dormant, trapped by time. Faint green veins pulsed along its body, almost gone dark. Steve stepped forward. As he did, the mark on his arm brightened. The serpent stirred. The ground trembled, leaves shivered. A low voice filled the clearing, deep and tired. "You carry fire and ice, yet you enter the grove of life." Steve stood still, calm but respectful. "We came to restore balance," he said, "to awaken what's fading." The serpent's eyes opened, glowing emeralds, old as the forest itself. "Balance," it rumbled, "has been lost because creation forgot to rest." Its voice was not angry, only weary. The roots around them shifted, reaching toward the sky as if breathing again. "If you wish to awaken life, you must learn stillness," the serpent continued. "Fire and ice burn and freeze. But life grows only in patience." The ground beneath them began to glow with patterns of spirals, living light weaving across soil and stone. The trial of growth had begun. Vines rose from the earth, curling into shapes that blocked their way. Some moved slowly, others lashed like whips when touched too quickly. Alex analyzed their rhythm. "They react to motion," she said. "We have to move with them, not against them." Steve nodded. He stepped forward, matching his breath to the pulse beneath the ground. The vines shifted, letting him pass. Alex followed carefully, tracing patterns with her fingers to calm the restless branches. Andy hesitated but found courage, mimicking their pace. It became a dance, a quiet rhythm of trust and patience. The vines responded, their hostility fading into harmony. At the heart of the grove, the serpent coiled upward, towering above them.
Fire and ice.
"You have learned stillness," it said. "Now can you give life where there is none?" A part of the tree's roots split open, revealing a hollow filled with ash. Something once alive, now gone.
We must move with them.
The serpent's
not
eyes
against
dimmed.
them.
Steve knelt, placing his hand over the ashes. His filigree glowed green and gold. He felt warmth spread through his palm, the pulse of life seeking rebirth. Alex and Andy joined him, placing their hands beside his. Together, the glow grew brighter until it filled the clearing. The ash shifted, tiny sprouts pushed upward, glowing faintly, turning into small seedlings. The light spread through the ground like a wave. The serpent's body began to shine with the same light. Cracks sealed, its mossy skin turned vibrant again. "The grove remembers," it said softly. "You have restored what was lost." From the crown of the great tree, a soft emerald light descended, a cube-shaped shard, pulsing with warmth and rhythm, the life fragment. It floated toward Steve, circling his arm before merging into his filigree. The spiral now shimmered with green veins, joining red and blue. Fire, ice, and life united. The grove erupted with color. Flowers bloomed instantly. Vines unfurled. Waterfalls turned brilliant gold. Andy laughed, running in circles as glowing petals rained from above. Alex smiled, eyes wide in wonder. Steve simply stood, hand over his heart, feeling the pulse of creation stronger than ever. The serpent lowered its head, voice softer now. 3 fragments found. One remains, the core that binds all. It began to sink back into the earth, becoming still once more. Seek the last where shadow and light meet. Beyond life, beyond death. The clearing fell quiet again. Only the hum of the forest remained. Stronger, steady, alive. As the sun rose above the canopy, Steve looked to the horizon. A faint golden glow flickered far away. Something unknown, waiting. Alex rolled up her map, marking a new path. Andy waved goodbye to the grove, pockets full of glowing leaves. Together they stepped into the morning light. Behind them, the great tree stood tall and whole once again. And high above, where the sunlight met the leaves, the wind whispered a single word: continue.